You can put it together if you want to. But I made a tweet, and the tweet said, a reminder to women that your baby father is a choice. You have full control over who you want to choose to be the father of your kid. That's what I said. A lot of women agreed. A lot of men agreed. And a lot of women were like, fuck you, bitch. Right? So with me, and I still stand on what I said, because it's like, and some women were like, well, fuck you, bitch. They didn't really say fuck you, bitch, but in my head I read it as fuck you, bitch. Yeah. But they were like, kind of like, bitch, like, women with no kids have the most to say. Like, a reminder to women, like, your baby father wasn't shit when you got pregnant, or your baby father masked the true him, and this, and that, and all this stuff. Now, I'm going to very openly say I don't have a child. I've never been pregnant, right? So I'm going to speak to this from me.
Your truth, yeah.
I understand that, yes, people change. And yes, if you have a baby daddy who ain't shit, maybe he could have started off great and then ended up shit. That does happen, okay? So I understand how
Niggas are good actors.
Yeah, sure. I understand how that can be sensitive to some women. But do I also think that a lot of the time women ignore red flags when it comes to men and having men potentially be the father of your children? Yes. And don't shake the table now. That was my point, right? And just to say, my tweet was in response to the whole fucking Danny Lay, which is old situation. That was my response. But the tweet just kept going and going, and people just kept saying dumb shit. But people were DMing me like, oh, you're so stupid. Yeah, I have because I turned my DMs on, so I can get DM requests now. People DM me like, such an ignorant tweet, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, respectfully, I just think that, not in all, but majority of situations, I'm sure that you have seen a red flag in this man, but you thought that you were the woman that was going to change him, and you thought that you are going to have this baby, and you're going to be together forever, and unfortunately, that was not the case. It's all about, I'm sure sometimes, or a lot of the times, the red flags are there, and that's what I mean when I say your baby father is a choice. Am I going to have a baby with a man who consistently gives me red flags? Fuck no. Am I going to have a baby with a man who already has 3 other baby mamas? Fuck no. Am I going to have a baby with a man who maybe has 2 baby moms? No. Especially if that man is maybe not taking care of his kids. He's doing stupid ass shit on social media. No, I am not having that baby. I believe in contraceptives. I take birth control every day at 11 a.m. I also believe in pro-choice. I understand some women, it's a sensitive topic. And my friend, I had women, and I spoke about this where I was like, sometimes, I've had people tell me like, oh, I would never get an abortion. And then that situation, and they have. I had people tell me, I'm really for abortions. Like, I'm pro-choice. And some women who the time came and they couldn't do it, right? So I'm not going to speak on that. Like, I've never been in that situation before. So I don't know how it would be. Like I said, I'm pro-choice, but I never really know until you're in that situation, right? So I'm never going to judge a woman for whatever they choose to do. But do I think that, maybe you should be a little more cautious with the men? Because not all men can be fathers. A lot of men should not be fucking fathers.
Most men shouldn't be.
Like, it's crazy.
Most people aren't qualified to be parents.
Yeah, and you know what? If your baby daddy did, do a complete 180 on you, unfortunately, that's the hand that you were dealt. That's crazy that some men can be so sociopathic that they can just completely switch when a kid is involved. But do I also think that sometimes men do give you red flags before you get pregnant? Absolutely. And in the case of Danny Lay and the baby, that man had a lot of fucking red flags that she probably should not have got knocked up. Same for Summer Walker and fucking London on the Track, and same for Sierra and Future. Like, these are flags. If you are baby mama number 4, you are not keeping that man, most likely.
Oh.
And I've had to learn the hard way,
Okay.
I used to paint my red flags pink. I thought I was at Six Flags. I thought these red flags were telling me go time. Yes. I used to love the red flags. I used to shake them in the air with him.
Yep. That's
But
crazy.
eventually you'd be like, yo, this is actually not it for the long haul. And people forget, babies are not a joke. Kids.
It's a human being. The whole life.
I personally agree
18
that.
years. 18 years.
I agree that having a child with someone is a bigger commitment than getting married. Some people are like, that's
Wholeheartedly,
crazy. Some people are like,
absolutely.
that's nuts. I think I said it on Clubhouse once. People are like, that's nuts. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, me and my baby moms don't even speak. You know, I'm trying to. And I'm like, okay, but you're literally, you have a kid. You have a kid. So you and your baby mom's not speaking. Maybe that's just you being an asshole. But at the end of the day, you are bound to this person because you have a whole other person that's half of you and half of them. You are responsible for this human being. You are forever indebted to this human being that you share with someone else. Forever. Like I said, parenting doesn't stop once your kid hits 18.
And you know how the parents hate when non-parents talk about parents?
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
some people might be like, this bitch ain't got no fucking kids. She don't know what the fuck she's talking about. Maybe that's true.
You know, I found myself in that situation too. You know, like there's situations with my niece and nephew, and like maybe I'll develop my own opinion, and it's like, I don't have kids though. I don't know if it's my ground to say this. You know what it reminds me, like when people are kind of like, well, if you've never done it, then like how would you know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, I think that's reasonable logic, but I also don't need to eat a bowl of shit to know that I don't like shit.
There you go.
You know?
There you go.
And I think that's kind of the premise of your argument. I agree with you, and I think you've kind of said what needs to be said.
Yeah, and it's by me. It's just like, you know.
I know it's a tough combo too to have.
It is a tough combo, and I feel like a lot of women maybe got offended because they were like, maybe they realized that their baby daddy ain't shit, and then they realized like he played me. Mm-hmm. Maybe unfortunately that's the case, but now look back. Were there red flags? And if there were red flags, stay out of my DMs. It's okay to admit that you've painted red flags pink. We've all done it.
Yes,
we've all done it.
Yeah, we have.
But one thing I will say is I didn't paint them pink enough to get knocked up, and that's just
oh my God, so.
That's just it.
Okay.
That's just my choice. So this is like, people are trying to come for me. This is just my choice and something that I have always said when I have a baby, or I'm going to try my hardest to have a child with someone that I'm either in a committed relationship with, like long time committed, or marriage. I understand that those things, you know, don't always equate to a happy story. People get divorced, blah, blah, blah. But that's something that I would just want a very strong foundation. Like I said, I believe in birth control. I take it all the time. I don't give a fuck. I take it even if I'm not fucking, because you never know when you might.
I saw something like this.
So, you know, I have friends who take it all the time, even if they're not fucking. Like, bro, bitch, you never know what's gonna happen. You never know who you might run into. You know, you might go to the block one time. You never know. I am that woman. And, you know, some women, it doesn't work for everyone. You know, they get really bad side effects. You know, it fucks them up. But then use condoms. And, you know, I understand sometimes condoms break, but I don't know. I just feel like that's just some people, just, the red flags are there. And like I said, if you're baby mama number 4, I can't feel that bad when you realize that your baby dad is not doing what he's supposed to be doing.